Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Tales from the Sales by 80 Does IT. And in this video, we're going to be going over the device health application, which is Cisco Dual Security's posturing solution available for Premier and Advantage customers. For my proof of concept, proof of value, I'll be focusing in on the Advantage package. I briefly covered the device health app in my previous video where I mentioned that it's a requirement in order to run the trusted endpoints feature. So not only are we getting all the features available in the Essentials package, but we're also going to unlock other features in the Advantage package, many of the existing features, as well as future roadmap features for Cisco Dual Security, all require the device health application to run on the endpoints. For supported devices, if you're running Windows on a PC or a laptop, or if you're running Mac desktop or a MacBook, you can run the device health application on those devices. If you have the dual mobile app installed on your mobile device, that is the acting device health application. No additional install is required. It is supported behind Dual's traditional web prompt, as well as the new Dual Universal prompt. The Dual prompt is what's passing the device inside information out to the Dual Service Cloud. In the lower section of the document, you can find the links to download the device health application for both macOS and Windows. For my demo, I'll be going over the device health application settings, followed by a demonstration on the proof of concept, while also demonstrating the proof of value. Now, if this information is useful, like, comment, subscribe is appreciated. Let's go. In the Dual admin panel under global policy, I'm going to head over to device health application where we can see the operating system controls showing as reporting. This is because my policy is currently set to don't require users to have the app. However, I'm going to change this to require users to have the app, but not deny access if their firewall is off, if their drive encryption is off, or if their system password is not set. And when I move over to operating systems, you can really start to see the granularity of the device health application, where I can do things such as allow Android and iOS devices, but not allow BlackBerry or Chrome OS devices. I actually know someone who still uses their BlackBerry phone, so they're out there. Moving down the list of available options, I'm going to not allow Linux devices, but allow Mac OS devices, and of course allow Windows devices. Under encourage users to update, we're going to see a list of different available versions where Duo can prompt the users to update. If their device is not up to date, we can encourage the users to update if they're running a Windows version that's end of life. We can also see a list of static versions where you can prompt the users to update if running below 11 and really go as far back as Windows 7. And just like BlackBerry devices, yeah, they're out there. So we're going to select anything that's end of life, and I want our users to be prompted immediately. For block versions, we can see where the same list is available to configure, and I'm just going to leave mine as default so we can go ahead and test this policy on my Windows 10 device, where we can see that my operating system's not up to date, my system password's not set, my drive encryption is not enabled, but my firewall is enabled. So to test this policy, I'm going to log into my PowerPoint application where we can see Dual's posturing take place. I'm being prompted to update my Windows operating system, but I'm not being denied access. I complete my MFA and I can go ahead and log into my PowerPoint application to grab my files. So let's talk about what just took place. In the Dual admin portal, I created a policy to require my users to run the device health application on their endpoints. I then created a policy to encourage my users to update their Windows operating system if they're running a version that's end of life, but I did not create a deny access policy. So when I opened my PowerPoint application and I completed primary authentication, we saw Dual's posturing services take place where I was prompted to update my operating system, but I wasn't denied access. So I was able to log into my application and access my files as needed. What about the applications that are hosting more sensitive data? How does Dual's posturing solution help strengthen that authentication experience? So now I'm going to create an application policy to demonstrate what that would look like. Back in the Dual admin portal, I'm going to select my Salesforce application, and under the policy section, we see the option to configure an application policy. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new policy where all of the policies are actually being inherited by the global policy, but what's going to change this time is under the device health application, I'm going to block access if my user's firewall is off, if their drive encryption is off, or if their system password's not set. And under the operating systems policy, I'm going to block access if they're running a version that's end of life, and I'm also going to deny access immediately. So I'm going to create this policy. And within my Salesforce application, we can now see my application policies being set. If I expand on show restrictions for the device health app, we can see the details of the changes that were made. If I expand on operating systems, we can see the new changes that are being applied. And really what's being listed here is if we scroll down to the global policy, notice that the device health application and the operating systems policies are crossed out. That's because the application policy is taking precedence over the global policy. So let's test this. Back in my Windows device, we can see the device health application still reporting my system status, except this time the firewall is disabled. So I'm going to log into my Salesforce application. Upon entering my credentials, we can see Duo's posturing services take place where this time I'm denied access. That's because my application policy is requiring for my device hygiene to be improved. To further validate this, I'm going to log back into my PowerPoint application where I'm still being prompted to update my operating system, but I'm still not being denied access. So next, I'll be going through the steps to remediate my device hygiene issues. First, I'll turn on BitLocker drive encryption and note that really it's Windows that's walking my users on how to turn on these system settings. Duo is only guiding my users on how to get to these steps. And so when you turn on BitLocker drive encryption, Windows does require a restart of your device. I'm just gonna hold off on that for a second while I turn on my Windows firewall. And when I return to the device health application, it should now show as firewall is enabled. Next, I'm going to create a password for my local account. And once the password has been created, the device health application should now be reporting that the system password has been set. And so on the last step, which is to update my operating system, we can see that I already have a pending update for version 22H2. And once my device has restarted, we can see that the device health app is now reporting my device in a healthy state. So I should now be able to access my Salesforce application. So upon completing primary authentication, Duo's posturing services is taking place. And we can see now that I can complete MFA and log into my Salesforce application. To further validate this again, I'm going to open my PowerPoint application. And you'll notice that I'm no longer being prompted to update my operating system. That's because my device is now running the minimum version required for my device posturing policy. So here's what we've covered so far. We went over the device health application settings, followed by a proof of concept. Now we're gonna look into the proof of value behind this solution. We're gonna take a look at the 3 recent log entries, starting with the denied result. That's because a user tried to log into an application using a Linux operating system, which is not allowed in my policy. Notice that this was actually picked up by the browser, where the browser sent in this browser information, source IP information, but the device health application is not installed on this device, so we don't know the health status of this device, if the device is corporate managed or unmanaged. The authentication method status is also listed as unknown, but it was the browser that let Duo know about the Linux operating system that allowed Duo's policy engine to make that denied decision. For the entry above, we see granted with a valid passcode. That's because the user completed multi-factor authentication using a Duo mobile passcode on a Windows 10 device. And just like before, we see as reported by browser. That's because the device health app is not installed on this device, so the device health status is unknown. But we're still getting that browser reported information, source IP address information. On the authentication device, we see passcode with a mobile number and passkey. And the reason we see unable to communicate with the device health app is because it's enabled in a reporting status by default. For the last entry above, we see granted, push answered with correct verification code using Duo's verified push on a Windows 11 device. Notice this time that it shows as reported by the device health application. That's because the device health app is installed on this device, so we can see the firewall status, drive encryption status, the system password. We also see that this is a trusted endpoint, meaning that it's a corporate managed device. We see the mobile device number, the passkey, source information. We still get that browser reported information, except this time we also get the device name information. Guys, thank you so much for joining. As always, it's an absolute pleasure. A lot of hard work and dedication goes into these projects, so a like, comment, subscribe truly goes a long way for me. Thank you once again, and as always, stay tuned.